I am so excited for you all to listen to this episode. I just finished interviewing Dr. Helen Knaggs. She is our Vice President of Research and Development at Nu Skin, and we talked about Future Serum. Now, I want you guys to listen to this episode and get some of the benefits that I got out of it. Of this product has stood the test of time. We talk about clinicals, we talk about the ingredients, and we really delve into all of the benefits that this product has. So make sure you're following, invite your friends to listen, and listen to this episode now. Enjoy. Hi, welcome to this episode of Beneath the Label. Today I have joining me Dr. Helen Knaggs, our Vice President of Research and Development, and we are going to talk all things ageLOC True Face Future Serum.
I'm very excited for this one, Kathy.
I am too, and I've used this product for a long time. But now we are repackaging it, repricing it, relaunching it. Like, it's going to have its day in the sun right now, I feel like.
I know, and what's interesting is you said a lot of things that we're doing new to it, but the important thing is that the formulation hasn't changed.
And it's because it's such a strong formulation, right?
That's correct, yes. And I've used the product, like you said, you've used it for a long time. I've used it consistently ever since we got the first samples in the lab. And I loved it from the get-go. I think at the time, it was a really unique formulation for us. It was very different from anything else we had before. But since then, and over time, what we've really seen with this formulation is that it can give you clinical strength results at home.
I love that. Clinical strength results at home. Is this our first ageLOC skincare product?
It was. Yes, it was. It was launched at the time as part of the ageLOC transformation system.
That was our very first time that we took ageLOC to skincare, right?
Actually, now I'm rewinding.
I'm questioning too.
It's a little bit
one of the first, we can say.
Yes, one of the first. Yes, because we did have some technology that sort of led us to that was sort of on the path, like a clue, if you like, to this product.
Now, some of our listeners might not know. You and I, when we hear ageLOC science, that is very meaningful to me. ageLOC science, what does that mean?
So ageLOC science is really about the ageLOC technology that targets the sources of aging, right? So if you see ageLOC on a product, it means that we have used a process looking at the science of gene expression to really help us select the ingredients that will provide the benefits that we want in the product. So ageLOC is around all of that science that we leverage to really launch our products.
And I love that. No other company is going to have ageLOC science. That is ours. Those are our blends. That's but it is all specific to anti-aging.
It is. That's correct.
And the gene expression around it, right? And I love that, where it's not just trendy ingredients or things. It doesn't mean there aren't trendy ingredients in things, but it's based on ageLOC science. And to me, I see the stamp of approval when I see it. I know how much has gone into it.
It's the science behind how we've chosen specific ingredients. So we know that we've got the right one that will give us the benefits that we get. So in the lab, we look at the results and the data to select the ingredients, but then we also back that up and do some clinical work where we look to see if we're still getting the results that we want in people, and whether or not they can actually see the results for themselves.
I love that. I love it. And so now let's talk about Future Serum.
Okay.
Because she's a beauty and difficult to compete with Future Serum, right?
Very much.
And I love what you said a minute ago, that we didn't have to change the formulation. And I know that you guys wouldn't just put the same formulation in a new bottle if it wasn't an amazing formulation.
That's absolutely right.
I love that.
Yes, and if we rewind a little bit our minds and go back in time, when we were developing this product, we actually called it had a code name, the mother of all serums, because it was going to end the need for any other anti-aging product, because it would be so powerful. This was the one that you wanted and would use at home. And what that means is that we took and we looked at the benefits that you get from different anti-aging products. And we combined all of those benefits so that we got them from one single product. So instead of having a cluttered countertop, a cluttered beauty space, you could just have this one product and get broad spectrum anti-aging benefits.
Now let's talk about that, because it's one of the things that I feel like is claimed with this product that is then clinically proven and claimed 8 ways, right?
In 7 days.
Yeah. Which I want to talk about that, the time, like what it does, and also how in the world can it show results in 7 days? So let's talk about the 8 different ways. And I have my cheat sheet here, but because I always try and remember them, and I can't do them from memory.
Well, and
I always double radiance or firmness when I do it.
I like to think about them in sort of groups.
Okay.
So you've got a group of benefits around improving the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, right? And then you've got a group of benefits around smoothness and softness and hydration and moisturization. And then there's a group of benefits around skin color.
Okay.
So your skin tone, skin evenness of color, which is all to do with pigmentation. And then there's a final group of benefits around the skin texture and cell turnover, for example. So I tend to group all of those in those 4 sort of different areas, because they have different backgrounds, and they need different actives to address these different 4 areas. And that's why when we were building this product, we took the best of the products available for those different areas, different skin concerns, if you will, and we combined them into Future Serum.
I love that, because anti-aging or getting older or whatever, it does show up in the color or the lines or the plumpness, right? Like the hydration, it shows up in all those areas.
Well, and so that's absolutely true, but you also find that different people age slightly differently, and it's quite important or quite obvious when you begin to look at different skin types or different ethnic groups, because there's data that shows that Caucasians like me, we tend to go like a prune. We get wrinkly,
right?
And we have quite dry skin. But actually, if you look at skin that has more pigmentation in it, so you go to sort of more ethnic or Eastern type skins, Asian type skin, they tend to age, and you see more changes in their discoloration.
Oh, interesting.
So we all have those changes, but to different extents. So for me, I get more fine lines and wrinkles, but actually over time, I still also will get those discoloration changes too. Whereas somebody with different Asian type skin might see more changes in pigmentation first, but eventually they also see the development of fine lines and wrinkles. And there's very good data that supports that. So it doesn't really matter who you are or your different skin type. I think Future Serum is just a great product for people of any skin type.
I love that. And if it's true, there's different things. And sometimes I always assumed that it was just, this is what I notice my wrinkles here or that, but it probably is my skin type and my climate that I'm in.
That's right. I was going to say, it depends on lifestyles too. And we all live slightly different lifestyles. And it also depends on how we have taken care of our skin over our lives. And I think that's the other thing that we know today, that the science, the data's telling us that we don't just get to a particular age and then start to age. We're actually aging from, the minute we're born, really. We're getting older. And what we know is that skin starts to change, very early on, in your 20s. And you start to see things, things being reduced. Key components of skin are being reduced at a rate, and they're not being replenished at the same rate. So you have a little bit of loss, for example, of collagen, a net loss of collagen. What I find so great about science and learning about our bodies is that we do have the ability in our body to replenish these ingredients, to replenish these key components, if we use the right technology that can help provide our skin with some of those raw materials that it needs to help with that replenishment process. So, even if you're somebody in your 20s, to give you great skin for the long haul, Future Serum would be a great skincare product for you to start with.
So I was going to ask that if there was kind of an optimal age. I always hear people, you said collagen, where they're like, at this age, this is when your body stops, but this is going to just be providing your skin with everything. And when I started at Nu Skin, I was in my 20s, and I always just was like, I'm going to use the best skincare. Like, I was not going to wait until I was old to start using anti-aging skincare, right? And so there isn't necessarily this is made for 50-year-old women.
That's right.
This product is a serum made for everybody to have the best skin.
That's correct. For that long haul, right? It's a journey. And I think the other thing that we need to also be conscious of is combining it with products that help support all of the great benefits that Future Serum will bring. So for me, I every single day use a product that has sun protection factor in it. And so when we launched the ageLOC transformation system, we had the Radiant Day, right, which has a sun protection factor of about 22. And I would recommend that we combine something like Future Serum with something like Radiant Day.
Yeah, I love that. I will forever be regretting baby oil tanning in the 80s that I did to myself.
Yes, that's
I made some poor choices in my youth.
No, don't worry, because we've got products that can help solve those issues. Remember that your skin has the capacity to replenish itself. It needs the raw
I've had enough
ingredients,
years, right? There's
and you can back that up with supplements too, right? It's that it's that full approach.
Helen, thank you.
It will be fine, Kathy. Don't worry. It will be fine.
Truly.
And
Some of those decisions I made were poor decisions.
Yes. Well,
but now I don't go out of the house without a sunscreen. Because why take care of my skin if then I'm going to spend the whole day damaging it, right? And not protecting.
Yes.
So, I'm so glad my skin can replenish this. Let's talk about cell turnover, because you were talking about, because this has something that encourages or enhances. What is it? What does it do with cell turnover? Oh, that's part of the smoothing and softening the skin it says that it has ingredients proven to support cell turnover in only 5 days.
Yes. Yeah. So actually we talked about 8 ways in 7 days. So one of the nice things here was that we saw really strong data within that first week. And within the first week, we got within 5 days, this smoothing and noticeably smoother and softer skin. And I think
that is fast. That's amazing.
It is. It's really good. And I think in our study subjects, we're using it, in the morning and in the evening, which helps too. The consistency of using any product will help you get those benefits sooner. One of the things that I think is really impressive about this formulation, and it helps contribute towards the results in 5 days, is the hyaluronic acid. And, since Future Serum was launched, hyaluronic acid has become quite common, right? And many companies now have products that just have hyaluronic acid. But like I said at the beginning, we took the best of those different products and combined them into one. And I think that the hyaluronic acid is helping to contribute and drive to some of those quick benefits that you see.
I love that. Let's talk about the other active ingredients in here, because it has the ageLOC proprietary blend in it.
It has almost 15% actives in here, so it's chock.
That is a power.
Yes.
That's a power. That's why it's showing benefits in 5 to 7 days.
I mean, this thing gives you value for money, which is
awesome.
And it's funny because when we were building the formulation, we wanted to make sure that those actives maintained their stability, and getting them all packed into that formulation in a way that they were stable so that they would provide their benefits was very challenging to the formulators. But it had lots of iterations. So we worked on it, and we ended up with the formulation that we've got today, which is really, I'm really proud of the scientists that built that.
And I can't imagine the brain power going into those big 4 anti-aging categories, and then what are the power ingredients?
What works?
And how are you going to make them work together
That's
and play
right.
nice?
Yes, in
one little bottle.
Exactly. You've got to make them play nice. That's a great way of putting it, because sometimes, especially with anti-aging ingredients, they are not friends with each other. Ingredients are not friends, and they don't play nice. And so we specifically use the criteria to help us select the ingredients that would play nice together.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about some of them, because this is one of the things like I said, I've used this product since it launched, but I don't ever question science at Nu Skin. I just trust it completely because I know you and Dr. Chang. Like I know what we do. And so I was looking into this as I was preparing for this. So pea extract, bamboo extract, and glucosamine. I, for some reason, had never thought about these being in a skincare anti-aging product.
Well, and I mean, we find in nature a lot of very interesting ingredients for us to use. And a lot of those ingredients have great benefits for the skin. And I think this is where science comes into its own, because today we've been able to look at what's available to us, particularly in nature, like the pea and bamboo, and see what are those ingredients going to do when I use them in the skin. And so, being able to have an extract that combines those ingredients gives us the best chance of seeing those benefits.
And then you're just providing your skin with stuff to support
yes.
its natural processes.
And this blend, so this is a blend altogether, it's proprietary, and this particularly helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, as well as really keep the skin youthful.
I love that. Scientists amaze me. Like how somebody decided to start pulling an extract from a pea is just, I love science. I love the way that a scientist's brain works, where it's like trying to break down nature and figure these things out. I'm amazed by you and by all of our other scientists, because I know that how your brain works is figuring out how to get into that component or what's happening. And I love it.
And it's a process of testing. So you usually take a lot of different ingredients or actives, and you do a process of elimination, and then choose the one that has the most powerful results, or the one that's particularly providing the benefit that you want to see. So you start off with a lot, and you eliminate and weed out the ones that aren't working for you.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay, now let's talk about the brightening, because as I'm reading on this, Future Serum is targeting different ways for brightening and discoloration or color, right? And that we have a brightening complex that says here with lemon peel extract, hexapeptide 2, for the even toned and glowing. Is that stuff that you see in other products? Is that pretty unique to us? Is it unique because it's just mixed with all of ours? Are these normal ingredients?
I think what what's special in our case is that, again, we've selected ingredients that work at different processes or different parts of how discoloration is created in the skin and how it becomes visible on the skin surface. So, you have skin pigment, and that's what you're seeing. That's what's giving you, like for me, it's giving me freckles. You might tan. That's sort of a more continuous skin pigment. And the process of its production and for it to get to a place on the skin where it becomes visible is sort of stepwise. And the ingredients that we've selected here target the different steps. So we're going at skin pigmentation from many different ways, so that we hit it at every step, if you like. So that gives us a very effective product that can really help to even out skin tone, the overall skin tone, and make it look, just a lot better in terms of having. You don't want areas of discoloration.
Right. You want an even tone, right?
Tone, and combining those ingredients together that work at different stages of pigment formation is how you can get that even tone.
I love that. I love it. Okay, I want to talk about clinicals that we did this time around, right? We didn't change the formulation,
right,
but we added some new clinical studies with, I know we did some with LumiSpa, right?
We've done some with LumiSpa, yes.
Let me see. Look at my notes. I got to get my notes so that I don't do anything wrong. Because before we had obviously clinicals around it, but we weren't selling the LumiSpa when this launched.
Right.
So we've added some new clinicals, and I love that we tied it to the LumiSpa, because the LumiSpa is going to cleanse and get your skin ready to absorb as much of this almost 15% active ingredient serum, right? Do you use, I guess you would tone, you would cleanse with the LumiSpa and then tone and then use this. But in our clinicals, it says here that it was done with 31 subjects using the LumiSpa and the normal combo treatment cleanser. And then the Future Serum was morning and night, right? Okay. These numbers are insane when I look at these. 112% skin tone evenness. That is amazing. In 2 weeks, and they probably showed it earlier, right? Because you were saying the 5 or 7 days. And then it says 96% skin radiance, and radiance is defined by,
it's like a glow, luminosity, how your skin sort of, it doesn't look tired, for example, it's radiant. It's radiating life.
And then it says 95% increase in fine lines and wrinkles.
Decrease. You don't want to increase your fine lines and wrinkles.
So 95% of participants saw a decrease, I'm guessing. So it wasn't a 95% decrease of the fine lines. It was that 95% of the participants saw a decrease. And then luminosity, 88% saw an increase.
Yes.
Overall skin appearance and plumpness. And I love the plumpness one because, I mean, we all want a baby's face, right? Or that just, I don't know, I always wanted like chiseled cheeks, but I think I really want that plumpness in my skin. I want my face structure to be chiseled and my skin to be plump.
You don't want much. You don't want much, do you, Kathy?
That's too much to ask for.
Well, not with Future Serum. I mean, I'm telling you, it's the mother of all serums in front of you.
I'm just saying some parts I do want chiseled. No, I don't want much. But again, I'm using my Future Serum for
I think when you look at these results, what was striking to me, one is that the subjects themselves were really seeing strong visible differences in their skin, but also when we look at the photos, it was really apparent. And I mean, photography has improved, but in some of our clinicals, I will say that sometimes I've looked at photos and it's been quite difficult because the photography just doesn't capture some of the benefits, some of the changes, especially very early on in a clinical study. But with this, it was really apparent to see the images that we got from this and the visible improvements that the subjects themselves reported was really striking.
Because the clinicals, there was a clinical grader and self-perception, right?
Yes, and we also had a clinical grader when we did the original studies as well. So that gave us some really strong data at that point too.
And it's fun because we didn't change the formulation. We can use both of those sets of, clinical studies, which is amazing to have. And that they're showing
such good data,
and results is so.
But I also think that it speaks to our philosophy at New Skin around product development. I mean, the products always start with our 6S process, which really brings a lot of care and attention to how we build our products. But also, I think that if we have a product that's not working or it's not being successful, then of course we'd want to change it. So if because at Nu Skin, that's what we do, right? We want to perfect and update. But this has just stood the test of time so well that, why mess with something that's proving again and again that it works and provides, consumer relevant benefits.
And so the things that we did mess with weren't the formulation, but we fixed the packaging to make it more sustainable.
Exactly, yeah.
So I love that it is a more sustainable packaging. It has refills, which is better for our pocketbook and better for the environment. And then I love, it has an airless pump. So now there's no, which I find so interesting, because you take it and there's no straw that goes to the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
So you're getting
that dip tube.
all of this product out. And I mean, you want to get all of your money's worth, right, of a product like this. But the airless pump means you're getting every bit of product out of this.
Yeah.
Our old packaging, for anyone who used it, it's very hard to get all the product out of those glass sides.
I was often, unscrewing it.
I would unscrew it and try to get it out.
Yeah.
But it was not easy to get, to be sure I had all of it out. So I love the things that we did change in this. And again, which was just packaging.
Yeah.
We made it more sustainable. We made it easier to get every bit of product out. And we made it a little bit better for subscription and for reuse with our refills, and then the outer packaging. And then it fits beautifully with our retinol that we just launched in this same packaging, and other, other products, that it just looks beautiful on our countertop as well.
Yeah, it's a really smooth pump. Actually, when I was just pumping that out now, it's very nice. What I was also excited about, the way that we introduced our peptide retinol product, was it didn't mean that I had to stop using my Future Serum. So actually I could use, and this is what I do now, I use Future Serum in the morning, and I typically use peptide retinol in the evening.
That's how I do mine as well.
Yeah, so I'm using both. And you might say, well, you've just talked about how this is the anti-aging product to end all, the need for all anti-aging products. But actually what science tells us, what the data tells us, is that we have selected ingredients that work in different ways to do different things in the skin. So just like I was talking about the production of pigment, it is a step-by-step process, and different ingredients work at different stages of the steps. As we talked earlier, aging, there's many things going on in aging. The skin changes are quite complex, and you need to have a broad spectrum of approaches to really address and get all the benefits that today's technology can deliver to you. So we all want the benefits that all the technology can bring, and having a regimen where you combine different ingredients, different technologies, and different products can help you get to a place where you've got this really nice full regimen of products that you're using.
So I love that. And I do the same as you, where I use my Future Serum in the morning and my retinol, my peptide retinol at night. And then let's talk about, because people ask me all the time about how to add Tru Face Essence Ultra to this product. And do you still need it? How would they work together? When do you use those in combination?
So Tru Face Essence Ultra is our firming specialist. And so we actually updated that formulation a while back now, and really developed a Firmplex blend of ingredients that really address and target improving the appearance of firming and reducing the appearance of sagging. So we all know that.
So I need to bathe in Tru Face Essence Ultra.
We all know that that's one of the changes you see with aging. So what I recommend is you would use your serum and then put True Face Essence Ultra just on top of that.
It.
Yes.
And then if I were doing it in the morning, I would use my sunscreen last. Right.
Yes.
And at night I could end with
True Face
I could do
Essence
my
Ultra.
retinol, peptide retinol, and then True Face Essence Ultra.
That's right.
And I don't have dry skin, so I don't always do a moisturizer at night. Sometimes I do, depending on the climate. But sometimes I just end with my True Face Essence Ultra.
But I'm very dry, and especially in winter, it's really difficult in Utah. So what I have also done is add in the ageLOC, I think it's the uplifting cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that one is a beautiful, rich cream that I've been enjoying using sort of particularly this last winter. So I've been using that with Future Serum and then putting that one on top just to give me that little bit extra moisture. And I've also been using it on my hands too.
Oh my gosh. I don't even ever want people to look at my hands because I feel like I've done such a good job taking care of my skin, and then my hands make me look... I have my mom's hands, and I think
that's... It's not too late, Kathy. I can get you some good products.
That is the message of this, is it's not too late, Kathy.
I can get you some good products. And remember your supplements. Don't forget the supplements.
I'm a whole handful. I use uplifting cream often in the morning and then my pearls at night.
Okay.
Because, and we could do a whole thing on uplifting cream, but it has that 30 minutes of lifting, right? Where we have shown that there's immediate benefits as well as long-term benefits. And so I feel like if I can get a little lift before I put my makeup on. So, and I think again, because I don't feel like I need the extra moisture at the night, but I pick and choose, and I use all of them, but I don't use all of them at the same time.
Right.
Like that would be very expensive to use all of them
I think that's, I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about our products is that we've got a variety of different products that people can personalize and, customize whatever they want to use. And your skincare needs do change. Mine change in winter. They change when I travel. And what you find at New Skin is, various products, but they're all built with the same approach. So our approach to developing all our products is the same. It's going to be innovative. It's going to be based and backed by science. It's going to be products that are very efficacious and that we've proven that they deliver their benefits. So I think, when you pick a New Skin product, you can be assured that it will have those benefits. And then you have the luxury, a consumer has the luxury to decide what they want to use and to decide what suits them, their lifestyle, and what experience they want.
I love that. And I always appreciate that instead of us going all in just on firming or discoloration, that we have specialists. We have a few that are
broad spectrum.
And then we have specialists for whatever your own needs are to layer on with this.
And the other thing that we haven't talked about is time. We're all time poor, right?
Yeah.
So with Future Serum, you can get a fantastic product that will address all of your sort of aging concerns in one product.
Yeah.
So it's quick, and that is going to set you up so well. And then if you have a little bit more time, or if you want that more spa day at home, then you can choose from our other products and, top it up with a few other things.
I love that. And I also I think a lot of people have a hard time getting into a skincare routine. If you're not, again, hard for me to imagine not having a morning routine and a night routine and a supplement routine. But if someone is just, okay, I want to start taking care of my skin better and I'm not good, this is a great one to start with.
It is.
Because it's so broad spectrum. And then as you get better at washing your face and using a serum and a sunscreen, then you can add some specialists. But sometimes I feel like skincare can be overwhelming to somebody who's just starting into this. And I feel like this is a great product for somebody to see results and get the best use of their time, energy, and money,
Yep. Yeah. And, sometimes when I'm layering products, I tend to do it in stages. So I might put, a cleanse, and then I'll put like Future Serum on, and then I might brush my teeth. and then I'll put, my SPF on, or I might put TFE on, and then I might, put earrings in or something. So I'm building it up. Yes. And I use my skincare routine in between the steps, because I also feel that and
does it help it soak in better?
Well, I feel it does. I don't think we've got sort of
There's
data.
no science on that.
Yeah, but it just helps me feel better.
I feel like that too. Like I want it to feel like it's fully absorbed, and then you put the next one on. Get it.
Yes.
I would put everything on, like I would put it all on my hand and put it all together. Because I was always in a hurry.
Yes.
I was always 5 minutes late when I had little kids or things. But now I find I actually like the experience too of like
the layering.
Yeah, putting it on and kind of rubbing it in.
Yeah,
and doing upward on my neck and chin, and then giving it its moment.
And I mean, we get dressed in steps, right? So you can't brush your teeth and put your earrings on and put whatever on at the same time. So that's why I sort of layer it in between, because I still have to go through those steps, right? Yeah. So I sort of fit my skincare into my overall get ready in the morning regimen.
I like that. But it also does feel more luxurious when you take the time to like put the product on and enjoy it when I have time.
And if like my latest nighttime regimen at the moment is to actually do our drink with the mind, the nighttime. So like my nighttime regimen is I get my nighttime ready and then move into the bathroom, and then I'll be taking a sip of that, and then taking off my makeup, taking another sip of that, and maybe putting Future Serum on, right? So
I love it.
So
my night routine, when I'm washing my face, so I get my little cup and I put my little scoop of the night in, and I know that it takes the last minute for my water to get as hot as possible. So when I'm lumispying my face, as soon as I'm on like the third little quadrant, I turn my hot water.
That's so funny.
But I have like this whole process of how to do it. And instead of enjoying and sipping it, then I take my supplements and I chug mine. But it's so funny because I have a total system.
Exactly.
Washing my face, when I take my nighttime tea, when I put my creams on, and then going to bed.
That's right.
And it's, I like a routine. I like a wake up routine and a relax routine, and it works so well for me to like wind down my day. But I totally have it down to a science of what time to turn my heater on, my water on to get at the exact temperature.
That's wonderful. That is really great.
So silly. But habits are important with skincare.
They are.
Using it,
building those
morning
routines.
and night, and doing it. And I guess my last statement for our viewers is, wash your face and use your serums before you go to bed, always.
Yes, and in the morning put an SPF on.
And in the morning put an SPF on.
Yes.
That is going to help you regardless. And again, Future Serum is an amazing starting place because it's so broad spectrum and everybody can benefit from this.
Absolutely.
She is the mother of all serums.
And you can get clinical strength results in your home, so it's a great product.
I love that.
Great value.
Clinical strength results at home.
Yes.
Don't forget that. Helen, thank you. Thank you for being
Anytime.
here.
I enjoyed it, Kathy, so much.
I learn so much from you every time we do this.
Well, anytime. I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you. We will be back. And our listeners, if you're following, and if you have questions, and if you have things you want me to bring Helen on to talk about,
I'd be happy to.
Tell us. Yeah, let us know what you want to hear more of. Where you want us to
scientist brains.
We'll be here. Thank you.
Bye.